Jax Calder never stayed in one star system long enough to learn its legends because legends got people killed, and as his outlaw ship Gravewind screamed through the bruised purple atmosphere of Oryx 9 with orbital cannons clawing at its hull, he told himself this was just another stop, just fuel and gone, nothing more. But the moment his landing gear hit the scorched sands of Karun, the sky tore open, not exploded, not burned, but peeled back like reality itself had been unzipped, and what came through made the city fall silent in seconds. Shapes that bent geometry, that shifted between shadow and structure, the Nullborne, and they didn't invade, they harvested, and people vanished into white nothingness, without sound, without time. And Jax ran blaster hot instincts, screaming louder than the alarms, sliding through sand, stealing a phase rifle mid-roll, blasting the only solid points those things had while buildings folded inward and gravity forgot which way was down. And when robed figures tackled him from behind, he nearly killed them until he realized they weren't enemies, just desperate, and they dragged him beneath the city into a stone temple humming with machines so old they'd been mistaken for faith. And an ancient priest stared at the void fire scar on Jax's neck like he was seeing a ghost and whispered, "The outlaw arrives." And before Jax could laugh it off, the altar ignited, stars spinning, worlds dying, and there he was at the center, a wanderer who kills worlds to save them. And Jax snarled that they had the wrong man right as the ceiling shattered and Nullborne drones phased into the chamber, and the fight turned brutal and close and desperate. Jax moving on instinct, ripping power cores, throwing them like grenades, while the priests chanted and ancient cannons rose from the desert, cracking the sky. But the Nullborne answered by anchoring a rift into the planet's core, gravity tearing oceans loose, and the priest screamed, "Only one marked by the void can approach it." And Jax didn't argue because he was already stealing a skimmer, already racing toward the impossible pillar of alien matter, already climbing through screaming physics where each step tried to erase him from existence. And the higher he climbed, the quieter the universe became, until at the heart of it all he stepped into a chamber of pure white, and a voice spoke his name like it had always owned it and said, "Welcome home, Jax Calder." And the shape it formed wore his face, older, calmer, colder, and suddenly the memory clicked. Virex Station, the explosion, the moment he should have died but didn't, and the figure smiled and said, "You ran," and the world outside began to tear itself apart as the truth finally started to surface. The figure told him the truth without mercy, that the Nullborne were not invaders but survivors, future humanity pruning collapsing realities to keep existence alive. And Oryx 9 was unstable, and the prophecy the priests worship wasn't about saving the planet, it was about ending it. And the older Jax showed him the Nexus, said, "One choice, destroy the anchor, doom countless realities, or complete the cycle." And Jax thought of the priests of Karun, of the people who had looked at him like hope, and he smiled sadly because legends always leave that part out. And instead of destroying the anchor, he inverted it, and pain tore through him as time folded memories, splitting past, present, future colliding. And Oryx 9 vanished in a wave of white light, ocean, cities, lives gone in an instant, and the universe stabilized, and everywhere else reality held. And for a moment there was peace, and everyone believed Jax Calder had died saving the galaxy, except he opened his eyes, drifting between dimensions, seeing every timeline at once, feeling himself stretch beyond a single life, understanding the final truth that he hadn't stopped the Nullborne, he had created them, that every jump, every harvest, every erased world traced back to this moment to him. And he screamed until the sound became silence, and the silence became purpose. And when he finally guided the Nullborne toward the next fragile world, he whispered, "Someone has to pull the trigger," while far below on a planet not yet doomed, people told stories about a space outlaw who would one day come to save them, never knowing that when he arrived the prophecy would be fulfilled exactly as written. Jax Calder learned quickly that seeing every timeline did not make the choices easier, it only made the guilt louder, because he could feel each world before it broke, the songs, the laughter, the quiet moments that never made legends. And the Nullborne moved when he willed it, not because they obeyed, but because they were him, fragments of his will stretched across dimensions. And on one such world, green and young and full of oceans that still knew their names, he hesitated, and that hesitation cracked something inside the machine of inevitability. And in that fracture he saw something new, a thin, impossible thread, a timeline where the prophecy was misunderstood, where the outlaw did not end the world but stood against himself. And for the first time since becoming more than a man, Jax wondered if a cycle could be broken, and he descended alone, shedding the vastness, wrapping himself in flesh again, feeling gravity like a memory. And the people looked up and saw not a god, not a monster, but a tired man with a scar on his neck. And when the sky began to tear, they ran, and Jax stood between them and the rift, firing not at the invaders but at the anchor itself, holding it open with his own existence, straining against the future he had become. And somewhere beyond time, the Nullborne hesitated for the first time in their history, because their origin was fighting back, and the universe held its breath as Jax Calder made a choice no prophecy had ever accounted for, and stepped fully into the rift, tearing himself apart across timelines, not to save one world or many, but to erase the certainty of the ending itself. And the sky sealed, the invasion stopped, and the people survived, never knowing how close they came, while across existence the Nullborne shattered into countless fragments, directionless, no longer inevitable, and legends changed quietly from warnings into questions. And somewhere in the space between realities something watched and waited, because the universe had learned a dangerous new truth, that even destiny could bleed.